Hello and welcome to Lesson 1.
Getting to know the work area, where we'll explore the essential tools and panels in the workspace that give you quick access to tools and options for editing and adding elements to your image. As you launch Photoshop, you might notice that your screen differs from what I have here. That's normal, as versions can vary. Let's start by creating a new file. Let's go to File, New, and I'm going to choose the tab that says Film and Video. And I want to choose the first option that says HDTV 1080p, which stands for pixel. I'm going to select that. Photoshop creates a new blank untitled document. It also includes guides displayed in cyan. For this new document preset, the guides are intended to help remind you to keep important content away from edges. I'm going to go ahead and choose File, Save As, and I'm going to go to my desktop. And I'm going to go ahead and if you already know where your Photoshop folder is, place it in there. I'm just going to place it on my desktop and I'm going to name this a capital L for lesson 1, a hyphen, and then my last name. Then I'm going to choose Save. With our new document saved, we can now start adding to it. Let's go ahead and import an image that will be the basis of the design. I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. I'm going to locate the folder that has the Lesson 01 file that I'm looking for. Lessons, Lesson 01, Arch, and Place. The image appears on the canvas. A bounding box with handles appears around the image, and the image was added as a new layer in the Layers panel. Adding the image is not complete as long as the bounding box is active. Its handles give you the opportunity to transform, move, resize, or rotate the image as you import it. In this case, you want to take advantage of that right now and then finish the import. We'll drag any handle on the bounding box so that the image covers the entire width of the canvas. So I'm going to select the right top corner and I'm just going to drag out and I'm going to let go, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the left side and drag out and let go. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the check mark. There is the default workspace with panels that are on the right-hand side and the toolbar that is on the left-hand side and the option bar, which is across the top. When we choose a tool, for instance, if I choose the magnifying glass and I hover my mouse over the magnifying glass, you'll see this little pop-up dialog box that opens. Inside of here, I can watch a video on how the zoom tool is used. It also tells me that the zoom tool has a keyboard shortcut, which is the letter Z. If I was to just select the letter Z, it would take me to this tool in the toolbar.
The Zoom tool in Photoshop allows you to magnify or reduce the view of an image. To zoom in, click the image. Each click zooms in further. You can also drag a marquee around the area you want to zoom into. To zoom out, hold down the Alt key, Option key on a Mac, and click on the image. Each click zooms out further. To fit the image to screen, or 100% zoom, you can double-click the Zoom tool icon. The Zoom tool is essential for precise editing and viewing of details in Photoshop.
And if I do Control 0, that's fit in window again, and the image will fit to fill the workspace area. If there are any of these panels on the right-hand side that I don't want open at this time, over on the right-hand side, there's this hamburger menu, and it has 3 lines. If I click on this, I can scroll down to the bottom and say close the entire tab group. So all of them will disappear. I can also do the same thing for properties, adjustments, and libraries. So I can select this and I can say close the tab group. If I just want to remove a particular panel, I can click on it and I can drag it out And then I can just close the X and that will remove that. I can also right click on the name of the panel that I do not want, and I can just say close, and that will remove that. So right now, all that I have available are layers. I'd like to make my layers display as large thumbnails. So I'm going to right click in this dark gray area, and I'm going to choose large thumbnails. And now you can see that my thumbnails are a little bit larger for you to see and as well as for me to see. We're going to add more elements to this project, and we'll create a colored rectangle. We'll click the arch layer, so it's already selected. And in the layers panel, we'll go down to the bottom next to the trash can, and we'll click the create a new layer button. And I'll select that. In the layers panel, we'll double click on the word layer 1, and we'll change it to rectangles. And then I'll select enter. The new layer is now ready for you to fill with color. Setting the unit of measure. You can change the unit of measure you use to work in Photoshop. This graphic will be displayed on screens, so we'll want to work in pixels. Now we can go to the Edit menu, and we can go to Preferences, which is down at the bottom, Units and Rules, and we can see right now that we are working in pixels. Another way to view our unit of measurement is to go to View, Rulers, and right now I have added my rulers around this image. And if I right click in here, it tells me that the unit of measurement that I'm using is pixels. So rulers is a great option to have open when you are working in Photoshop. We're going to use the rectangular marquee, and it is the second tool down. And notice that its keyboard shortcut is the letter M. One of the things that I'd like to point out as well is when I work with the tool bar, I like it to be in a double column. And I'm going to start in the left top corner, and I'm going to drag outside. It doesn't matter where I start. And then I'm going to select to the first blue guide. Down here at the bottom, I have the Generative Fill contextual taskbar open, and I'm going to select the paint bucket, and I'm going to choose Fill Color. Near the bottom of the Color Picker dialog box is a # field where we can type a hexadecimal RGB value FF7F00 for the color orange. Click OK to close the Color Picker dialog box, and then click OK to close the Fill dialog box. The orange color fills the rectangular selection. Now we can go up to the Select menu and say deselect, but I want you to get familiar with these keyboard shortcuts. So Control D if you're on a PC or Command D if you're on a Windows will be the keyboard shortcut to deselect. And now we'll create a blue rectangle the same way with different pixel dimensions. With the rectangular marquee, I'm going to start in the top right corner, and I'm going to drag out, and it says that it would like the rectangle to be a width of 660 pixels. And right now you can see that my width is 319 pixels and a height of 995 pixels. So I'm just going to keep dragging until I get to approximately 600 pixels. And right there I have 600, and get as close as you can. Now instead of going to Generative Fill this time, they're showing us another way that we can also fill. And that would be under the Edit, Fill. So we'll select Color. And this time we'll type in 0053B2. And I'll say OK. And I'll say OK again. The blue color fills the rectangular selection. Let's go ahead and deselect. And this time I'm on a PC. I'm going to select the Control key, hold it down, and then select the letter D, and that will deselect. If you're on a Mac, you'll use Command and the letter D. With this layer selected in the Layers menu, I'm going to go up to the Blending Mode options. And I'm going to hold down the little down arrow, and I'm going to go to Color. The color blending mode combines the hue and saturation values of the rectangles layer with the luminance of the layers under it. Feel free to try other blending mode options. We're now going to go ahead and add type. We will add 2 lines of type to this graphic. Type exists on its own layers. In the Tools panel, we'll select the horizontal type tool. And notice in your book, they give us the keyboard shortcut, which is the letter T. In the options bar, we'll select a font. The textbook used April Fat Face, which is available from Adobe Fonts. Okay, so when I went to go to Creative Cloud, Home, and I went to Adobe Fonts, I went out to a browser, and so it did open up in a browser. So notice that the URL is fonts.adobe.com/fonts. Don't worry about this at the end. It would look like this. And from here, you would search for April Fat Face. And here it is, the April font family, and I'll select that. Now, I've already included this font in my Photoshop application. So you'll want to go ahead where it says Install on yours and click Install. While we're here, let's install one more font as well. It's going to be Acumen, and it's going to be Pro Condensed. And then once again, you'll go ahead and select the Install. Now, if you go back into Photoshop, you should have access to both of those fonts. They were added to your software. With the type tool selected, so April Fat Face, regular. I want this to be 210 points. I want the alignment to be center. And I want the color swatch to be white. So I'm going to select this color swatch right here, and I'm just going to drag my mouse all the way up into the top left corner. The hexadecimal code for white is FFFFFF, and I'm going to say OK. I'm going to select anywhere in my image, but I also want to go to this little icon where it says toggle character and paragraph panels. I'm going to select that, and this little dialog pops up that says character, and I want to select the one that is all caps. So it's the TT. I'm going to select all caps, and then from here, I'm going to go ahead, and I have my cursor in between the words lorem and ipsum. I'm just going to select A, and I'm going to backspace, and then I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to type history 301, and I'm going to select the check mark. I'm going to use the move tool to move this to the center of my graphic. And the reason why I'm able to center this in my graphic is because there are guides on that are called snap. And where you would find those is under view, and you see where it says snap. So because I have snap on, when I'm moving this text layer, it snaps to the horizontal and vertical position in this image. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create another text layer. And I'm just going to change. I want to make sure that I'm completely off the history 301. So I'm just selecting this gray area right here in my layers panel. I'm going to select the type tool again. And this time I want this to be Acumen Pro and Condensed Black Italic. I'm going to change this to 165. I'm going to select Tab, and I want this to be right aligned. And I'm just going to put my cursor anywhere down in my image, and I'm going to type in live stream. I'm going to use my move tool, and I'm just going to move it over here to the right. Guide that is in my image. I'm going to go ahead and select up here in the black area just to get rid of the bounding box. We're now going to add a solid color layer. In the Layers panel, I'm going to select the arch layer, and then I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm going to select the Create New Fill. So it looks like a circle with half black, half white. Select the Create New Fill or Adjustment Layer button, and I'm going to choose Solid Color. From here, I'm going to type in the hexadecimal value of 0C3303, and I'm going to say OK. Now in the Layers panel, with the New Color Fill layer selected, I'm going to go in the Blending Modes option, and I'm going to select the drop-down, and I'm going to find where it says Hard Light. And then I'm going to choose the opacity to be 90%. Now I could have used the scrubby slide, which is if you hover over the word opacity, you get a hand with the finger, the index finger is raised, and if you hold on that, you can scrub this to the left or to the right. We'll go ahead and hide our guides for the rest of this lesson. We'll go to View, Show, and we'll deselect the guides. Over on the left-hand side in the Tools panel, we have a little swatch that's down here at the bottom that if I hover over it, it will be this Set Default Foreground and Background Colors. What we're going to do is select this, and then it will set our default foreground color to black and the background color to white. We're going to use the eyedropper, which is the letter I, and we're going to come over to the blue rectangle area, and I'm going to select that. I'm just going to use my mouse, and I'm going to click once to sample that color. I'm now going to go over to the swatch, and I'm going to double click on that. And down here in the hexadecimal code, they want us to make this blue 4099FF. And I'm going to say OK. Now we're going to go ahead and choose a brush, which is the letter B for brush. Notice right here, the brush tool, letter B. In the options bar at the top, I'm going to select this drop-down menu right here next to the number 13, and I'm going to look for the special effects brushes. I can pull this out a little bit for you to see, and I'm going to open up the special effects brushes. And the brush that they want us to use for this effect is going to be Kyle's Spatter Brush hyphen Spatter Bot Tilt. And I'm going to select that. And I'm going to close this dialog box by selecting up here anywhere in this blank area. With brush selected, I want to make sure that I create a new layer. I'm going to go down into the Layers panel, and I'm going to select where it says Arch. I'm going to select where it says Rectangles. And then I'm going to hold down the Alt key if you're on a Windows and an Option key if you're on the Mac. I'm going to click and create a new layer. And what that does is it gives me the option to go ahead and name the layer at the same time. So I'm going to name this Paint. And I'm going to say OK. I'm now going to go ahead and I'm just going to paint around the word live. Well, that's not exactly how it looks in the book. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go up to Edit, and I'm going to say Toggle to Last State, or I can undo the brush tool completely and just say Toggle Last State, and that will remove it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to the drop-down menu where it says Click to open the brush panel. And I'm going to take this all the way down to 80 pixels. And I'm just going to close that by selecting outside of there. And now this time I'm going to go in a circular motion and I'm just going to paint around the line. And I think that looks good enough. And now I'm going to choose File, save. And I'm going to save my work. We're now going to go ahead and extend an image. The photo of the arch is too far to the left. The composition would be much more visually balanced if the arch layer was moved closer to the center. We're going to go ahead and select the Move tool. We're going to make sure that we're on the arches layer. I'm just going to select Control minus so that you can see more of my canvas. We want to make sure that the Auto Select button is off. We want to make sure that the arch layer is selected. We're going to position the Move tool over the canvas and drag the arch layer until it's centered within the green area. So I'm going to move this to where it's centered. And I think that looks pretty good. So now that the arch is centered, the image does not extend to the left enough to cover the canvas. You can have Photoshop create content fills that use Generative Fill, an AI-powered feature. This will be easier if you hide all other layers first. I'm going to come over to my Layers panel. I'm going to use the Alt key if I'm on Windows or the Options key if I'm on Mac. I'm going to click the eye icon for the arch layer. And that hides all the other layers except the arch. Now we need to tell Photoshop which area to fill with generated content. We're going to select the rectangular marquee, which is the letter M on your keyboard. I'm going to start in the top left corner. I'm just going to drag just slightly into the image, just a tiny bit. We want to make sure that we overlap the arch slightly to ensure there won't be a gap. The contextual taskbar appeared, and we're going to click Generative Fill. And then we're going to go ahead and select the Generate button on the right-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and agree to the terms. On the right-hand side, we have the panel that says Properties and Generative Layer. A new Generative Fill layer was created above the arch layer. This contains the new content so that it doesn't alter the original layer. We have different variations that we can try. I can select the next one to see if I like that option better, or I can select that option. I think the first option is better. Generative Fill is useful not just for creating new images, but also for repairing, extending, and enhancing your own images. Generative imagery is created by training software models using large numbers of images. Adobe Firefly Generative AI is designed to be commercial safe, in part because it's trained using images where usage rights are known, such as images from the Adobe stock library and in the public domain. Now, one of the things that we can do, since we've decided that I'm going to use the first generative image, I'm going to go to the second image and there's a trash can, and I'm just going to delete that. And then I'm going to delete the third one. And the only reason why I'm doing that is it makes the file size larger. Now I'm going to right-click on the Generative Fill layer, and I'm going to say Show Hide All Other Layers. And there you can see this is the total finished product for this lesson. So we've completed the graphic for the live stream by learning the basics of combining images, text, painted brushstrokes, and other layers to create a composite Photoshop document. We're going to save our file. So File, Save. Now I